I will. I will talk about these right quick because it seems like this past week was just off. This past weekend was just a huge weekend for games. Hold on. Because not only did we have Summer Games Fest, which, you know, the VOD for my reaction stream for that is still up on, you know, on the Twitch channel and whatnot. So I already talked about everything on that end. But on top of that, you had the Future Game Show and Xbox actually had a showcase last night. I'm gonna pull up the announcements for those. And I was keeping up on some of the announcements, not everything, but a couple things that really kind of piqued my interest a little bit. So for Future Game Show, the announcements you had were The Expanse: Osiris Reborn, which, from what I understand, is based off of a novel and TV series. I've never heard of it until this game was announced. Then you had Echoes of the End. Granted, I will say I did not get a chance to look at all these, so I can't exactly give thoughts on how, like, my general feelings on it, I suppose. Whispers of the Fog looks like a horror game. More stuff for Deadly Sins Origin. Announcements for the finals. Hurdling, which I feel like I've heard something about that, like about maybe a year or so ago. Sleep Awake, Eric's Home, The Stolen Dream, The Explorer, Constance, Titan Quest 2, which I will say, because I've actually kind of been playing the first Titan Quest game on and off on my downtime. It's actually pretty fun. Recommend it if you want like a Diablo style RPG, but with Greek mythology. Then on top of, like, there's like 3 different expansions for that game too, so I'd recommend it so far. So I know there's a lot of people that are really excited for this long-awaited sequel. Then you have Call of the Elder Gods, Ascendant, Lost Eidolons, Veil of the Witch, which I have heard of. I think it's actually on my wish list. Popucom, Firefighting Simulator, Ignite, which, you know, par for the course, another simulator game. The Bureau of Fantastical and Arcane Affairs. That actually sounds like it'd be pretty fun. WTF Waifu Tactical Force. That is certainly a game. More stuff from Hirogami. Eve Frontier, based on, which I think this was in the news a while back, because I think Eve Frontier was like another game that wants to channel the blockchain bullshit. I don't know if they've went away from that. I was initially interested in it because, if you guys remember back in the day on like the PS3, there was a free game. There was a free-to-play FPS game based in the Eve universe called Dust 514. I used to play the absolute fuck out of as a kid. Eve Frontier piqued my interest because it kind of reminded me of that. Then I found out that they wanted to incorporate blockchain shit into it, and I immediately got disinterested. I don't know if they've rescinded all that. I'll have to do more research on that one. But then you have a Formula Legends, so another Formula Racer game. Ones to Play Montage, Ahoy. Spotlight Montage, another thing for Scum, Deathground, Hell Is Us, which I think was announced at State of Play a while back, Fading Echo, Sacrifier, which I have heard of, Truck Sun Extreme, Linked Banner of the Spark, Joe and Mac Retro Collection. Oh, I didn't know. I know of Joe and Mac. That's a classic style beat 'em up. I know a lot of people would be like down for that one. Because I think that was Data East. They were responsible for a lot of like the classic side-scroller beat-em-ups in the 80s, I believe. Then you have Directive 8020, which is that game that's being made by the... yeah, it's another game of the Dark Pictures anthology. I've yet to play the Dark Pictures games. I know a lot of people are huge fans of them, so I know, you know, it's a sci-fi game made by the Dark Pictures people, so it's gonna be fun. More stuff shown off for Cairn. Ground Zero, Hark the Ghoul, Hella, which sounds pretty neat. Ludo, Reach. Man, a lot of shit was announced at Future Game Show. I wish I had the time to actually look through them all. Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping? That actually sounds pretty charming. Ratatan, Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile, House Flipper 2. A Scooby-Doo DLC for House Flipper? Shit, that might be fun. I played the first House Flipper a while back. It was really fun. More stuff for Mafia the Old Country, Tenet of the Spark, Crystal Theater Vitals, and Ritual Tides. Ooh, Lovecraftian Odyssey? Ooh. That was everything for Future Game Show. Then you had the Xbox Showcase, which happened yesterday. They showed off Outer Worlds 2 stuff, which I've kind of been keeping on and off on. It seems like they're going more of a Borderlands route with its comedy and just overall style, compared to like in the first game, it was more maybe tongue-in-cheek isn't the right way to put it. I want to say that's probably the right way to put it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It wasn't as like Borderlands over the toppy. I should say. Outer Worlds 1, still a fun, still an absolutely fantastic game. Highly recommend you go play it if you haven't already. I'm pretty stoked for the sequel. I did read on, apparently there's apparently if you decide to make a character an old man, you can get a perk that makes your knees pop when you get up from a crouch that will alert enemies if you're stealthing. Which that could be both hilarious and annoying at the same time. Then they announced High on Life 2, which that should be good. I know there was like controversy surrounding the one Rick and Morty voice actor, because that was like the main thing, was that your gun was voiced by that dude. And then there was, I can't remember what it was exactly. But I think they did update that, got rid of his voice. And so they had a new actor voice act all the scenes that the one dude did. I don't know. Maybe they're doing that again for this one, I would assume. Then you have Resonance, A Plague Tale. Another... Okay, it took me a minute to realize this. This is another game of the Plague Tale series. I've yet to play... I think Innocence is the second one. I played the first one a while back. I remember enjoying it. It was a little annoying at points, but I had fun. And I think this could be another fun addition to that. Oh yeah, Xbox announced that's basically getting its own portable console, partnered with ROG. So it's called the ROG Xbox Ally. 512 gigabyte storage, 116 gigabyte memory. This could be really cool to have, especially if you want to have like Xbox Game Pass on the go, which I could, depending on the price, even though I already have my Steam Deck, which I still very rarely touch, I could see a lot of people getting a kick out of playing this, which it's still so weird to me that Steam and Xbox have really good portable consoles. Meanwhile, PlayStation is still like lagging behind in the industry. They somehow failed twice, and they're like, we're just not gonna give it another attempt. Meanwhile, I believe this is Xbox's first attempt at a handheld console, and I could definitely see it selling well. Then they show off some more gameplay for Blood of Dawnwalker, which is that it's that vampire game that's being made by Rebel Wolves, which consists of a lot of ex-CD Projekt Red devs. If you look at even looking at the first trailer, you could definitely tell that's very CDPR stylized. But it's really cool. In this game, you're going to be playing as a Dhampir, or a Dawnwalker. Basically, you're a vampire that can walk in both daylight and at nighttime with no repercussions, basically. Which is pretty cool. It looks really fun. I want to see more gameplay, which they did show off with the new trailer, but I kind of want to see like a full in-depth thing. Hopefully we get that soon. But Beloved Dawnwalker is set to release in 2026. So I think next year is going to be another pretty big year for gaming. And one announcement that kind of shocked me, because I didn't realize... Because I thought, honestly, I thought that this mascot was kind of like gone after it's like one game. But Super Meat Boy is back with Super Meat Boy 3D. Now, I've never played the first Super Meat Boy. All I know is that it's an incredibly difficult, you know, side-scrolling platformer. But a really fun one at that. And I know it was like very... It was definitely of the era of like Binding of Isaac. That's like the only other game I can really compare it to right now, off the top of my head. But it was very of the times, with like dark humor and whatnot. But I know Super Meat Boy had its fans, and you know, hey, Super Meat Boy 3D, I'm gonna be curious to see how they handle that. So yeah. Then they showed off some more Ninja Gaiden 4 stuff. Now, the next game, this also shocked me. So the next game they showed off is a game called Beast of Reincarnation. This is apparently being made by the Pokemon company Game Freak. Which, from what I understand, is going to be a Souls-like. And looking at the trailer, if the engine is everything, everything's, to be believed, this is like way out of left field for Game Freak. It is wild that I think a lot of people are really pissed about this particular game, mainly because of the fact that, like, okay, Game Freak is showing that they can make a game that looks this good and hopefully runs and plays pretty well. But I know a lot of people are currently upset with the current state of the Pokemon franchise. And so people are wondering, like, okay, why don't we get a Pokemon game in this kind of, like, art style? Or this type of graphics engine? I think it would be really cool. And I personally, I agree ever so slightly, because I feel like this is definitely meant to be on the more, because I think this is an Unreal 5. Either way, very big, beautiful graphics engine. Meant to look realistic and pretty. I don't know how well that would translate to Pokemon. Unless they keep it to like a more cel-shaded art style, then maybe. Cel-shaded and cartoonish. That's what I mostly associate Pokemon with. And I say that knowing that Detective Pikachu exists, and that's a really good movie. That's a really good Pokemon movie. Go check that out if you haven't already. And Detective Pikachu actually translated everything pretty well into live action. Like, all the Pokemon look pretty good. So maybe they could do a Pokemon game with this graphics engine they're doing for Reincarnation. Maybe not. I don't see them doing that at all. Then they shut off an expansion for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's called The Order of Giants. I know the Great Circle is massively successful, so I guess it only makes sense that they're doing a DLC for it. Announcement of this game called Clockwork Revolution. I don't even know what to go for on this one. And then announcement of Grounded 2. Which, hey, I'm not surprised. Grounded was massively successful for Obsidian. It only makes sense for them to go the next step and make a sequel. I guess it'll be available on July 29th. Huh. Then some stuff for Chronos the New Dawn, which I think they announced a while back. There are no ghosts in the Grand? Huh. Let's see. Another game announced is a game called Aphelion. Then you have Mudong Two Hearts, a self-action thriller. Ooh. That could be pretty cool. A Nemo, which is another Pokemon-like game. Another solo leveling game announced. Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf. I've not played the first game, and I never even heard of it until now. Then, yeah, probably one of the bigger announcements is Persona 4 getting an official remake called Persona 4 Revival. I've yet to play any of the Persona games so far. My only experience with Persona is Metaphor ReFantazio, which I'm almost done with. I'm almost fucking done with that game. And like, I know it sounds like, oh, I'm glad to be rid of this mess. No, Metaphor, absolutely amazing game, great RPG. If you haven't played it yet, go play it yourself. As someone who's ever really delved deep into the Persona-like games of the RPG genre, I think it's a pretty good break-in for me. I don't know how similar gameplay-wise Metaphor is to Persona. But if the Persona games are anywhere similar in terms of like gameplay for Metaphor, then I could definitely see myself playing a Persona game in the future. Then you have another massive update for Fallout 76 called Gone Fishin'. A game called At Fate's End. More stuff for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes. Obviously, they announced with Doom Guy being a playable character, and now it looks like we're going to be getting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. More specifically, I think we're getting Michelangelo, which obviously, you know, that makes sense. Then we're getting an Invincible fighting game, which I've not read or watched Invincible, but I know it has a massive fan base. It's like considered one of the like top, I don't know if top tier superhero thing media is by the way, but I'm also pretty sure I'm not wrong in that. All I know is I could bet people are gonna be excited for this one. Then you have some Gears of War Reloaded news, another update for Sea of Thieves season 17. A new DLC for Age of Mythology Retold called Heavenly Spear. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Basically, I guess 2 of the Final Fantasy VII remakes are coming to Xbox, as well as Final Fantasy 16. There's a game called Keeper, and then the last but not least, the last game, and a lot of people are not really happy with this one. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 got announced. I thought this was a little bit of a shocker because we had Black Ops 6 last year, and I believe Sledgehammer was going to be on the docket for this year. Because then after them it would have been Infinity Ward and then back to Treyarch. I guess they're skipping Sledgehammer this year and going back to Treyarch with Black Ops 7, which from what I understand, we'll be heading back to the story of David Mason, which is Alex Mason's son. You play as him in Black Ops 2. This is going to take place in 2035. Menendez is still alive, so I'm going to assume this is going to take place on the ending where you don't kill Menendez. Because Black Ops 2 has like 5 different endings. And in one of the endings, you can kill Menendez or just leave him to be captured and taken to a high security prison. And it seems like they're going with that second part. Because from what I understand, Menendez is still alive, and so is Harper, because it was also announced that Michael Rooker will be reprising his role as Harper in this game. But we are going back into the futuristic setting for Call of Duty, and I think we haven't had a futuristic Call of Duty game since actually Black Ops 4. Funnily enough, But unlike Black Ops 4, Black Ops 7 will actually have a campaign this time. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what sort of stuff they do for this. But hey, you know, could be cool. I'm very loose when it comes to, you know, sci-fi. When it comes to like the sci-fi Call of Duty games, I played a little bit of Advanced Warfare when that first came out years ago. I never touched Infinite Warfare. I kind of had a distaste for it when they tried to do the whole like, oh, pre-order Infinite Warfare and this is the only way you're going to be able to get Call of Duty 4 remastered. Totally, I swear, this is how it's gonna be. Even though I called that shit day one that they were gonna release COD 4 remastered separately at a later day, and I was called a fucking idiot for even thinking that. So yeah, I kind of hate Infinite Warfare for that, because I think that's scummy to lock a game behind a pre-order. I should say locking a separate game behind a pre-order for a completely different game. I should stress. But yeah, that's basically it. Another thing I do want to touch upon, so I am going to retract all of my statements that I said during the Splitgate 2 segment at Summer Game Fest, because if you guys remember, I was kind of being stoked for the Splitgate 2 Battle Royale update, kind of saying like, oh, eat your heart out, Apex, I think Splitgate just owned your ass, and I was saying all this shit. I gave it about a day before I was like, you know what? Nah, the shit's kind of stupid. And a lot of it is in part due to just me thinking about a lot of what the head of the Splitgate dev team was saying. Because if you guys remember, because a lot of people are really upset with the head of the, I can't remember the developer's name, but a lot of people are not happy with the head developer of Splitgate 2 because of his overall demeanor at Summer Game Fest, because, you know, he comes out wearing, you know, a spoof MAGA hat, which instead of it saying, you know, make America great again, it says make FPS great again, which firstly isn't even that good. Why not have it say make FPS games great again? That's just a small nitpick, but granted, that could just be bad optics from, you know, possibly, but also still not a great look. And then, you know, he just comes out and he says like, oh, yeah, no, I'm tired of playing the same cookie cutter FPS games year in and year out. Here's a Battle Royale mode to spruce things up a bit. It's like, yeah. And I realize during the initial reveal, I was excited, but now, obviously, again, giving it a day to spur and looking through the, especially, I didn't realize how microtransaction heavy Splitgate 2 was. It is awful. $34 for a white portal, ladies and gentlemen. $34 fucking dollars for a skin for your portal that makes it white. Like, god damn. Like, I get it's a free-to-play game, but look, Valorant is also a free-to-play game. But I don't justify Valorant's $130 fucking gun skin bundles. Like, Jesus. So, yeah. I do hereby retract everything I said regarding my initial thoughts on the Splitgate 2 stuff. Fuck Splitgate 2. Fuck the owner of that company. Fuck that head developer. He's an ass. So yeah, that's where I'll cap things off there.